everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231. It is Saturday, August 8th, and we have another 2-game Champions League slate to tackle. This one has some high totals, some big favorites, and just a couple things to go over. So it should be a fun one. Yesterday was really good. I think we got a lot of the picks right. Hope that you did well. If you want more help, make sure that you hit in the details. There's a link that you can subscribe to premium content at FSI. If not, you can always find me on Twitter at GatorGuy231. Would love to help if I can. It's a little bit harder during the lineup block, but if you just have a question about something I said on the preview, absolutely reach out. Would love to answer any sort of questions or use the comments below. Last thing, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. It really helps. Let's jump right into the games. As you can see, Lionel Messi finds his way under our cover. It should be a shock to no one. And, if you are wanting to fade Lionel Messi, like I said, mentioned yesterday with Ronaldo, you can gladly grab my head-to-heads. I would love to play you. Really just a great spot for Barcelona. We'll go over it. But actually, let me take that back. I don't necessarily just want to say it's like a great spot for Barcelona, but you play Lionel Messi, you play Ronaldo in these big games, big spots. It's just like reduces the roster to 7. Just figure it out. And there's just enough value on this slate that you're not going to have a problem doing it. So let's just talk about the odds. Barcelona's minus 169 favorite at home at the Nou Camp. Messi does take a decent amount of the set pieces. When Rakitic is on, he has been taking some of the in-swinging corners. Also just good or important to note, Barcelona does a lot of short corners. So, with obviously Messi's Messi, but with Rakitic, just because he has a share of sets doesn't mean he's a lock. He's a fine play, but does not make him a lock by any means. On the Napoli side of things, Insigne normally is splitting with either Callejon or Politano. I would expect Callejon to be in there, which would make it a set split. Chelsea versus Bayern is the other game. Bayern's minus 192. Chelsea 461. Oh, also note 1-1 aggregate Napoli and Barcelona, meaning if that game ended at 0-0, Barcelona would advance. If for some reason though it gets to 2-2, Barcelona would have to get to a third because of the away goal rule. Which is funny. I always yesterday I was trying to think if one competition got away with the away goal. I think it was either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup or whatever the hell the cups are remaining. So it's hard to keep track of who's doing away goals or not, but we found with Juve yesterday being eliminated due to away goals that is definitely the case. Just back onto Bayern. So Kimmich takes all the sets. So Pavard is out. I'll go there in a minute, so which is going to kind of shift Kimmich to right back, which I hope there's people out there that actually think that that's worse than when he plays defensive midfield. That is so much better. We get so much extra open play value on top of his set pieces that makes him a great play. On the Chelsea side of things, there's a lot of people that are missing. It's like we're going to put Mount on most sets. Now, Emerson Palmieri has not played in a while, but when he's been on with Mount, he splits some sets and takes some corners. So I am listing him here as a probable set taker as well. All right, let's get into the lineups, some plays. Get the hell out of here onto our days while we wait for the games to start. So for Barcelona, obviously, first player in to all your lineups should be Lionel Messi. There's no analysis needed. He is the best player ever. And it is a home game, which, again, we've talked about, you have to lessen with no fans. But when teams are traveling, especially with all the crazy travel that we have now with COVID, it matters. So he is the first guy in. I think the big decision, here's the thing with Griezmann. Obviously, he's a great player, great name. He just does not look right for Barcelona. There is no floor to speak of at all. He doesn't have a high shot floor. He's not crossing the ball, not doing any of that stuff. So to me, it's GPP or bust. You score a goal or you don't. I'd much rather, if I want a second Barcelona piece, or if I think they smash, go to Suarez, who I feel is a little underpriced potentially for his upside. I think it's 84, 8,500. I think he is a fine play. I would not gawk at anybody with him as cash. Most people know me as a cash player. I definitely go more on the conservative side. Yesterday, my final decision was between Bernardeschi, Benzema, Hazard. A lot of people went Benzema. I liked Benzema a ton for GPP, but I couldn't get myself to not play either Hazard or Bernardeschi. Finally decided that I wanted Bernardeschi for an extra Juve piece over Madrid. Looked stupid once Benzema scored, but Bernardeschi got an assist, was active from the wing. That's just my style. I'm always going to take the wide guys. So most likely will not be on Suarez. Jordi Alba is the defender that you can target. Obviously, always very, very active, especially when Barcelona is in attack. So it can be played. Do not play Nelson Semedo. Nice player, but he will not cross. He does not tackle that much. He doesn't shoot that much. He just, as a facilitator, like I will not have Nelson Semedo. If I made 50 lineups, maybe he's in like 1. I don't make 50 lineups. I make like 5. But I will not play Nelson Semedo. Sergei Roberto, on the other hand, is very cheap, sub 4K, playing in the midfield, has actually been really good in this system for them as of late. At the end of the La Liga season, so I think he is very in play. That would be the other guy I would target. I mentioned Rakitic. He is fine. Good floor. It's going to be a fit thing. I think when you look at your midfield, there's going to be so many other guys you want to play. I don't know if you use your spot on Rakitic, but maybe in GPP as like part of a Barcelona stack, it works. On the Napoli side of things, so I think a lot of people just may dismiss Napoli here, but I do not want to do that. I think that there are some really solid plays, and most solid of the bunch is Lorenzo Insigne, who not only is like one of the more active shooters in the world, but he gets to share in set pieces. He stays wide, cuts in, draws fouls, crosses the ball. Like, he does everything we want for DFS. Every Serie A slate, every interleague slate Napoli's on, he's the first guy in my lineup. He rarely lets me down. On top of that, he has PK duty. So there's a lot to like, and he's a cheap price, forward eligible. So I think he is very, very, very in play for a second forward, depending on what you want to do with Robert Lewandowski. Mertens and Calais-Jean are both fine as well. Both are cheap. Again, I don't want to get like carried away with Napoli and like a cash build, which, when we're talking here, we're talking about optimal and cash. Obviously, if I discount players, that's not discounted from GPP. So if all of a sudden you see me show up and you're like, oh, you didn't say you liked the guy. Well, it could be part of a stack, could be part of being contrarian, all those things. Like soccer, especially on a 2-game slate, you're going to be making a lot of lineups. You got to cover different outcomes. So Calais-Jean and Mertens, well, I don't necessarily know if I'll be on them in cash. I guess Calais-Jean, you need to just double check what the price is. I think it's actually stupid cheap on him. So he actually might very much be in play because he is on set pieces. When he stays wide, like he crosses the ball plenty. So the more like I'm talking out loud about it, I think like he could very well be in play, especially 5,700. Yeah, that's a great price on him. So yeah, your cash plays here are Calais-Jean and Insigne. Mario Rui used to take some set pieces. Has not much lately at all, especially being on the Messi side of things and like having to deal with that. I don't think I'll be on him much at all. But he's fine, right? Like if you play him again, I won't call you crazy, but there probably is better routes to go. Zielinski has been awesome in Serie A for DFS. Like the last like month and a half of the season, being around like 8 to 10 floor points. Fabian Ruiz is the other really nice player for Napoli. So here's the thing. Napoli has a lot of nice players. And then Saj, here's the thing. He's been better when he's on the left. For whatever reason, on the right, I don't watch a lot of Napoli, so I'm not going to pretend to like know the tactics. But just one thing I've noticed is the fullback play on the left always gets a little forward a little bit more than the guy on the right. Maybe that changes with it being Messi side of things today, but I probably will not gravitate toward however you even say his name, Saj or however, unless he's like last man in. Like, let's see what his price is, just so he's not like 2,900 and then he becomes like a core play for me or something. 3,600, so he's fine. But give Roberto's 3,700. I'd probably rather go there. And then we'll talk about a cheap wing back in the next game. I think that covers that game. So let's jump down to the next one, Bayern versus Chelsea. So this slate is really, really, really going to come down to how you deal with Bayern. They're up 3-0 in the aggregate, so they don't necessarily like have to like blitz Chelsea. But here's the thing: they have not played now in quite some time. The Bundesliga season ended early. We've seen in the Europa League these German teams struggled, right? So Bayern, very much has their eyes set on winning Champions League. In my opinion, they have to use this game to get ready. And so they have to kind of go full bore. Like, I don't think that they're allowed to show up here and just go through the motions. So I think it's going to be pretty big for them to just play this like a normal game. And with all the Chelsea injuries, like that could spell some disaster for Chelsea, especially going to Germany after just really a tough end of the season for Chelsea. Like great for them for qualify for the Champions League, but tough loss in the FA Cup final. Lost Pulisic. Willian, even though he shows here, is supposedly not fit. Conte is not fit. Alonso's suspended. There's somebody else I'm missing that's either suspended or out. Oh, Azpilicueta, team captain, is out. So that's literally half their normal starting lineup is missing. So let's talk about Bayern. Then we'll go over to Chelsea. Lewandowski potentially had an honest-to-God case for Ballon d'Or, which is crazy in the time of Messi and Ronaldo. So he is legitimately the best pure striker, number 9 in the world. Going up against a weakened defense, it's going to be really hard to fade him, and there's plenty of value to make it work. So I would just say that is going to be a really tough decision, and probably like you choose Messi in your lineup, and then the next thing I think the next decision point you're making is, am I playing or fading Lewandowski? And if you're fading, just understand you are terrified the entire slate. Any goal notification for Bayern, your expectation is that it's Lewandowski, and you will just feel nothing but relief if it's not. And obviously, you know, if you play him, you feel great every time you hear a goal notification. He's that good. I think the other attacking play, Serge Gnabry ended the season on kind of a tough note, but absolutely demolished Chelsea earlier this season. So he had 2 goals in the last leg with 4 shots, 2 crosses, solid game. He also had 65 points with 4 goals and an assist versus Spurs. Like, Bayern has just been especially rude to the Premier League this season. So I really like him again as part of a Bayern staff. I think Thomas Muller, it could very well go under owned. I am probably going to get this wrong, but I think he was one of the top assist men in the world, maybe even the top. I'm going to try to pull it up to see exactly how much he finished with. But he has had an insane season. 8 goals, 21 assists. So much of the movement for Bayern has been Lewandowski and Miller working off one another, with Miller setting up Lewandowski. So that is an unbelievable GPP stack. As if you have Lewandowski correlate him with Miller, you may be very, very happy with the results. But a stunning season from Muller. I think he is very in play and underpriced for his role at 7,600. I already spoke about Kimmich beforehand. Kimmich, I just love for cash. He's midfield eligible, which is not like the best thing. I would love him as a defender, but he's only midfield. But likely he's playing right back with no Ben Pavard. He's going to be on all the set pieces. He's going to be able to get forward more as a right back than he was as a center defensive midfielder. He used to be right here. I'm not sure. Thiago's a struggle for fitness at the end, so I don't know if we'll see Thiago or not. I've seen some mixed reports in games, but if he's in, he's fine. Just not a cash play. But Kimmich can finally bomb up, so it's going to be a nice play to get him. Alfonso Davies has quickly become one of the best left backs in the world. He is a fine play at 6,100. I just don't necessarily know with everything going on if you can fit him. And Kingsley Coman is fine. That's a good way to describe Kingsley Coman. Like, he's fine if he scores and assists. If not, he'll bust. All right, Chelsea side of things. So Willian, like I already mentioned, is likely out. Trying to think who I ended up seeing. Give me just a second. Let's talk about everybody else while I'm trying to pull up one other formation. I've already forgotten who they had mentioned. So Mason Mount is most likely going to be on most of the set pieces. He is sub 5K. So he should be pretty popular. Like, here's the thing. I don't necessarily like Chelsea here to do that well. Like, they're injured. It's a terrible matchup. It's in Germany. Everything bad going against them. That said, like, sometimes when the sites give us pricing that's just wrong, you just have to accept what it is. And Mount at, like, what was it, 4,600, 4,700? That's just not the right price on him. He is 4,700. Like, he's on a majority of sets, is playing in an attacking position, is out wide, like sub 5K for set takers. Like, if you just closed your eyes, you would go, oh, okay, probably need to play him. But for some reason, Mason Mount, he's had some bad games. Maybe we're biased. Debo was great at the end of the season. I don't see a way around him. The other guy I don't necessarily know if I can see a way around him in an optimal build is Emerson. Like I mentioned, he's going to be playing left wing back. He's only 3,600, and he potentially has a share of set pieces. You can also go Reece James at 4,000. So there's some really, really nice prices on Chelsea pieces. It just kind of sucks that it's such like a bad matchup, because if it was just like a game flow type of thing and it wasn't Bayern, you would go, oh man, I want to kind of load up on this. So that's kind of Chelsea in a nutshell there. You're not playing in the midfield. You're not playing in the back three. I don't think you play Giroud. I guess you can for GPP. Maybe he comes in under own, given the goal scoring form he was in. Let me just real quickly pull down the other prediction I've seen. Yes, Hudson-Odoi on the right, which maybe that actually encroaches upon Mount sets. So maybe that's a little bit more of a way away from Mount. Hudson-Odoi himself is 4,500. So you guys got some crazy good prices on these Chelsea pieces. That's going to definitely be something I'm looking at. But yeah, it's what you do with Chelsea is probably going to very much probably the biggest decisions of the slates are what you do with Lewandowski and how much Chelsea you have, because you could easily I'm just thinking about builds right now where you have Mount, take Hudson-Odoi, Emerson, and maybe even like Reece James. So all of a sudden, before you know it, you have 4 players from the biggest dog on the slate, just because I guess there's a second biggest dog on the slate, but a solid dog just because the prices, like four very, very in play DFS plays under 5K. It's kind of crazy. Well, anyhow, hope this helped. At least gives you an idea of some of the plays and where to target. I hope you guys very much succeed. Maybe not do as well as me, so that I can still pass you in the lobbies. But give us a like, comments if you like this content. Really appreciate y'all continuing to watch. Once again, Keith, a.k.a. Gator Guy 231. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your weekend.